How good is the Hitler Gambit? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the question I will be answering in today's video. First, I will start by explaining to you guys the opening, then we will transition into some theory, and finally I will show you guys a game I played against a 1000 rated player, and I checkmated him in 11 moves using this gambit. That's right, no joke, no scam. I actually checkmated this guy in 11 moves using the Hitler Gambit. So you guys won't want to miss out this video. And without further ado, let's get into it. So, what is the Hitler Gambit? Well, it starts with e4 as white. You know, the most common move in all of chess, because why wouldn't you play that? Unless if you play d4, in which you're a nerd and nobody likes you. And then as black, you will not play e4, you will not play d4, you will not play knight here or knight here. So then what do you do? Because these are the most popular moves, right? What other moves are there other than these? Well, the Hitler Gambit starts with a6, the St. George defense. Now, you guys are probably going to click off this video after that, but please don't. I need the ad revenue. And also, it's actually not that bad of a move. Look at Stockfish. He says 0.70. That's it. Not even a full pawn. Not even a full pawn difference from this gambit. So it's not that bad, right? So where did this gambit get its name from? Why is it called the Hitler Gambit? Well, because in a game in Vienna in 1919, Adolf Hitler played this exact opening against Vladimir Lenin. That's crazy. And he ended up actually winning that game. So, you know, if he can beat the head of Soviet Russia, you can probably beat the kid next door with this opening too. So what's the plan for a6? Because clearly, what can you do? There's nothing to do, is there? I mean, after he takes the center, you're just lost. You try to take the center, but then he has 2 pawns. He got free development because he played that awkward move. No, because after they take the center, which is the most popular move, you play pawn b5. Now, Stockfish doesn't like that move, but I do. Why? Because it stops them from protecting the pawn. Because there's no good way to protect the pawn. You can't play knight over here. I'll let you guys guess why. It's not that difficult. It's because the pawn comes up here. And then now look at this knight. Where does he go? He can't go. That's an awkward position. He can't go here because then... Look at that. Look at that bishop. He can get to it, but that's just too much work. You can't go here. I mean, he could, but then he'll get taken. Not here, of course, not here. And his best move is probably to go over here. So, that's off the table. This move now. Why can't he... Now, this move. Why can't he move over here? Well, pretty simple. Why do you want your bishop there? Look at your bishop. Look at how awkward he is. He's not controlling anything. He's controlling literally 3 squares. 3. That's worse than a pawn. So that's off the table too. And finally, pawn here makes your castle weaker. So that's out of the table too. So in most cases, they're going to play knight to f3. Now in this case, what do you play? You play bishop b7, putting pressure on this pawn. I know, it looks weird. Why wouldn't you push any of these? And then now if they play any other move, and then now, let's just say they move their bishop here, because now it's not all that bad, because, you know, they need to save the pawn. So then after this, French defense. So keep that in mind. French defense. And then now after this, see, I know Stockfish says that it's not that bad, not that good. You know, he castles, he's in a pretty good position. But then after this, after you bust open the position, and then maybe and then now you have some good attacks lining up on the king's side. So I disagree with Starfish for this. I think that is actually not that bad for you. So if they play knight f3, it's going to be a normal game for you. You're not going to be down anything. It's a gambit, but you're not sacrificing any piece. You're just sacrificing a bit of position, in which that if you're good at the game, you can very easily get that positional advantage back. But what we are going to look at more is a lot of mid-ladder players are going to see this move. Pawn a4, trying to of course double your pawns, leave this file open, and then of course they might be able to take and then take your rook, you know. But what you do instead, you ignore that and you go bishop b7 again. So remember these moves in the Hitler Gambit. These two, move the pawns up, bishop c7 and e6. It doesn't matter for the bishop b7 or e6. It doesn't matter which order you play it in that much. Whichever order you prefer, that's the order you'll play it in. But then after they takes, because that's the only good move, takes, this pawn is undefended. And remember, it's awkward to defend it. And if they say, ooh, 3 pawn, you come in here and do that. And then now it's not that bad for you. And it's very easy for them to blunder the rook in the corner. But I'll let you guys experiment with this gambit, because it's very interesting and I recommend you guys to play some games with it. Now, finally, let me show you the game that I checkmated my opponent in 11 moves with. So, this game started, as you guys can see, 1007 elo. He played the e4, the most common move in chess. I played a6. He played knight to f3. Now this one's less common because most likely they're going to take the center, but he's doing it in a kind of weird order, and instead of taking the center, he decided to move his bishop. And then now I see why, because after I play my pawn to b5, he is going for a King's Indian. So this is a King's Indian player with very solid opening, right? So then after that, remember, keep in mind, French defense, bishop b2. I think that bishop b2 would be a slightly better move, but it doesn't really matter. And then after he fianchettos his bishop, I bust open the center. And he kind of has to take. So after that, he moves his knight to try to attack, put a bit of pressure on my pawn. So now I move up my knight, he moves up his pawn, and now I'm winning. See how Stockfish is? Now it's mine. Now it's +1 for white. Like I said, it's very easy for white to give up their positional advantage. It's very easy for them to do so. So he did that, and now I'm winning all of a sudden. And it's a very easy thing to do to win. So after this, of course, his knight's pinned, and my plan is to take his pawn. So he protects my knight, his knight, so that I can't take it, of course. And then after this, I take his pawn. Then he takes my pawn in the center, thinking, oh, 3 pawn. But I have a trap for him. I ignore the rook hanging, and I take his knight. Now, you guys are thinking, well, that's a blunder. Why is Stockfish saying I'm up? I just lost my rook for no reason. That's the trap. As you guys can see, look at the eval bar. Look at the eval bar dropping from +1 for me to M2. It is M on the evaluation. Why is it M on the evaluation? Double check. Double discovered check. Now his only move is King F1. And I'll let you guys find the M in 1. So if you guys had the chance to pause, it is of course Bishop H3 mate. Crazy that this gambit, you don't even have to give up any pawn. You don't have to give us a single pawn, and yet it allowed you to do a bunch of crazy plays like this one, and not simple ones either. Ones that can get a 1000 elo player checkmated in 11 moves. See you guys in the next video, and I hope you enjoyed.